Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a sensory journey straight into the heart of the Eastern Himalayas. We're zeroing in on the fascinating data, the rich history, and the absolutely incredible atmosphere of a place that totally defies expectations. Yep, we're talking about Darjeeling. We're going to look at the numbers, the geography, and the culture that make this destination absolutely unique. Let's get right into it.
Think about this core question for a second. Where else on Earth can you find a century-old steam train still chugging along, tea that sells for an astonishing 1.5 lakh rupees, and views of India's absolute highest mountain peak, all in one single place? Today, we're breaking down a destination built entirely on incredible extremes and beautiful juxtapositions. It's a place where modern markets practically wrap around historic engineering and where vibrant city energy sits just a few kilometers away from total, untouched silence.
Section 1. India's highest railway. We're kicking off our journey with the historic honk of the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway. Now, this isn't just any train. It's a literal marvel of historic engineering that completely defies its mountainous landscape. We're dealing with a staggering altitude here, 6,700 feet. This isn't just a scenic route. Because of this immense elevation, Darjeeling is actually home to India's highest railway station. You literally will not find another railway station operating at this height anywhere else in the country. And honestly, what's even more remarkable is the machinery they're using to conquer this climb.
Just imagine the exact science it takes to operate these things. We're not talking about modern diesel here. These are authentic, old-school steam engines, and some of them are literally 100 years old. So step 1, you manually fire the coal in the pit. Step 2, that intense heat boils a massive 5,000-liter water tank sitting right at the front of the train to generate steam. And finally, step 3, the engineers have to carefully watch the pressure gauge. The train cannot and will not move an inch until that gauge hits a perfect 150. It's this beautifully mechanical, hands-on process from a completely bygone era, and it's still functioning flawlessly today.
But you know what's really fascinating here? It's the extreme physical contrast. On one hand, you've got this massive, heavy, 100-year-old steam engine, which, by the way, is now often pulling these beautiful new Vistadome coaches with massive windows. But on the other hand, all of that incredibly heavy machinery is balancing on a tiny little track barely 2 feet wide. It's because of this unbelievably narrow gauge that it affectionately earned the nickname, the toy train. But hey, don't let the cute name fool you. Navigating this terrain requires some serious, heavy-duty engineering. For example, to manage the ridiculously steep 1,000-foot climb from Darjeeling up to Ghum Station, engineers had to get super creative. They designed this clever track formation known as the Batasha Loop. This loop effectively eases the steepness of the climb, allowing the train to sort of spiral upwards with way more ease. And get this, as it travels, the train literally weaves right through the middle of the local markets. Imagine a massive steam train passing with just inches of clearance from century-old shops, side by side with regular road traffic. It's wild. Yet, despite this unbelievably tight squeeze, locals note that no major mishaps have happened over the years. It's just a completely seamless integration of a historic train into everyday modern life.
Section 2. The famous Darjeeling Tea. So to understand why the British went through the immense trouble of building a railway way up in the clouds in the first place, we have to look at an industry that's even older than the train itself. During the British India period, they discovered that the pleasant climate and unique altitude of Darjeeling were absolutely perfect for growing incredibly high-quality tea. Today, the region produces about 70 lakh kilos a year. Now that sounds like a massive amount, right? But believe it or not, that is an incredibly tiny 1% slice of India's total tea output. They really aren't trying to feed the world's volume here. Darjeeling tea is famous entirely for its strict focus on quality over sheer quantity. And because of this extreme focus on quality, you get these highly coveted global exports. Most of this tea is shipped all over the world, and it includes some of the single most expensive teas in all of India. Take the Darjeeling Silver Tips tea, for example. Because of the pristine growing conditions and super careful harvesting, a single 1 kilogram pack of this specific tea costs an astonishing 1.5 lakhs Indian rupees. Yeah, you heard that right.
This strict focus on quality also creates a really complex flavor profile for the tea enthusiast. The harvest times actually dramatically alter what ends up in your cup. First, you have the first flush, which is harvested in the spring and offers a very specific, delicate taste. Compare that to the second flush, harvested in the summer. That summer harvest yields much shorter leaves, which in turn creates an absolutely robust, intensely strong cup of tea. It's exactly this variety and profound depth of flavor that keeps Darjeeling firmly on the global map.
Section 3. a blend of cultures. With such prominent global exports and deep historic roots spanning well over a century, the city itself became a vibrant melting pot. The region has beautifully preserved its historic buildings, which now stand right alongside deeply diverse, multilingual communities. Now, given that we're in West Bengal, you might naturally expect Bengali to be the primary language spoken on the streets, but surprisingly, that's not the case at all. If you walk through the markets, you'll find that Nepali is actually the dominant language, spoken prominently alongside Bengali and Hindi. It's incredibly common to find locals seamlessly switching between 3 or 4 different languages in a single conversation.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that this linguistic mix exists for a very obvious geographical reason. Darjeeling is incredibly close to the Nepal border. This geographic closeness creates a totally unique, interwoven fabric of both Nepali and Buddhist cultural influences, all thriving together up at this high altitude. The culture here isn't just one monolithic thing. It's a beautiful, blended tapestry that perfectly reflects its place on the map.
Section 4. The Sleeping Buddha View.
All right, so we've talked about the trains, the tea, and the people. But if you are lucky enough to wake up early on a clear morning, you get a stunning, direct view of Kanchenjunga, India's highest peak. But here's the magic. It's not just a single mountain you're looking at. When the visibility is just right, Kanchenjunga perfectly aligns with several neighboring mountain peaks to form a breathtaking natural silhouette. Together, this massive rocky formation looks exactly like a sleeping Buddha resting across the horizon. It's a visual payoff that makes every early morning wake-up call completely, absolutely worth it.
Section 5. Escape to Lepcha Jagat.
Now, because the railway and the tea trade have been established there for so long, Darjeeling itself is a very bright, bustling, well-developed city. Even at night, it's vibrant and illuminated. But a sharp, almost unbelievable sensory contrast awaits you just a short distance away. By traveling a mere 15 kilometers out of the vibrant, honking city center, you completely step off the timeline of modern life. Just 15 kilometers away lies a village called Lepcha Jagat. Almost regardless of the weather back in Darjeeling, Lepcha Jagat is this dark, dreamlike pine forest, constantly enveloped by thick, descending fog and roaming clouds. You literally transition from a bustling marketplace to towering, shadowy trees in a matter of minutes.
Locals actually often say that you transition from multilingual chatter to a forest with so much silence that you can even hear your breath. It's the kind of profound serenity that makes the leap from the loud, historic steam trains of the market to deeply quiet pines feel completely surreal. Honestly, it makes you feel entirely alive.
And you know, it's exactly this traumatic swing that defines the entire region. You've got the constant chirpiness of the narrow-gauge tracks stacked against the absolute heavy silence of the pine forests. You have deeply preserved, century-old heritage sitting right next to bright new developments. You have weather that shifts from crystal-clear mountain peaks to dense, foggy dreamscapes within just a few kilometers. It just proves that Darjeeling isn't just a point on a map. It's an entire, diverse world enclosed high up within the Eastern Himalayas. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. In a modern world defined by constant, rapid motion, where else can you find a century-old steam engine carrying world-class commerce just inches away from profound, untouched silence? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this journey has given you a whole new perspective on the incredible heights of Darjeeling.